Hi everyone, I'm Goddess of Made by Mutiara and welcome back to my channel. I love to make lettering videos as well as watercolor videos, but in today's video I'm doing something a little bit different. So instead of using watercolor inks, I'm going to show you how to paint some night skies using brush pens. So I've already made several videos using watercolor inks because in general I find watercolor inks to be easier to blend. So I thought why not try using something that I already have but I don't use as often, which in this case is... Oh yeah! Yeah! Come on! How? Okay. Tombow Dual Brush Pens! I can't believe I have the whole collection of colors but I don't use them as often. I'm so sorry. I had to get this, by the way, because of the casing that it came with. Look at that, look at how easy it was. But anyway, and since I have every single Tombow Dual Brush Pen color that's available, so I thought why not make use of that to make some galaxy night skies instead. So because this is my first time, before I show you the video clips, I just want to say that I did struggle with it a little bit, but after my first attempt, which is in the first video, I actually tried something different with the second video. So if you watch all the way to that part, you're gonna see what I did differently and was it actually better for the blending instead. Everything that I'm going to be using in this video will be listed down in the description below, but a disclaimer, I prefer to use the Strathmore cold press watercolor paper because it does blend more easily than Canson watercolor paper. So if you don't have either of them, just be aware that it might not work for some watercolor paper. So it's a bit of a trial and error depending on what you have at home. Oh no, okay, I don't know if you can see. Kitty cannot get up. Okay, Kitty, so sorry. Come on out then. Come on out then. You're welcome. Retro, say hi to everyone. This is Retro, my foster cat. Are you happy to be in the video? No. Oh, you just woke up from a nap. Okay, go down there. Alright, so without any further ado, let's go and see how I made the first piece. Alright, so for the first piece, I drew the outline of a Frappe based off an image that I found on Google, and then I prepared the brush pens that I was going to use for this piece, which I will list them down in the description below as well. So with the lightest color at the bottom, I did some zigzag lines with my brush pen, trying not to overlap them too much with each other. And then I used the water brush and blended the colors gradually from the bottom and worked my way up. But as you can see, the colors started getting lighter after getting a bit more diluted with the water. So later on, I will be adding more color. So since the piece was still a little bit too light for me, I wanted to add more color. So I did this by starting with the darkest colors at the top and then using the water brush to blend the colors together. So I did this gradually as I moved to each color so that I can control of how much darker or brighter I want the colors to be. And then I just use the bullet tips of the markers to clean up the outlines and make sure the piece is completely dry with a heat gun. Next, I use a white coal pencil to roughly sketch out the quote that I want to letter in for later so that I know how much space I have at the bottom for the forest trees. And the forest trees are actually quite easy to draw. You just use the broad side of the brush pen and sketch out, or not sketch out, just draw in the shape of the tree. So what I did is to make the trees towards the middle get smaller and smaller so that it shows that it's getting further and further away. And the tape border you see here is just my own precaution because I normally color outside of the line, so this is just to make sure that I don't. But what I have to do is to go back in with the bullet tip and fill in any of the empty spaces. And my favorite part of any lettering piece is using bleed-proof white, and this is where I make sure that I get the consistency that I want and letter in my quote. So this prompt, "Don't worry, be frappy," was part of a lettering challenge I hosted back in May, which was so much fun, and it's also why you see so many coffee pun prompts in my YouTube channel lately. One of the easiest ways to remove any of the guidelines created by the white coat pencil from earlier is to use this Tombow Mono Zero eraser, which has a very fine tip. So you don't really need to roll your eraser all over the piece and risk smudging or moving any of the pigment. So this will be very useful to you if you find that to be a problem. And last but not least is to add stars to your night sky, and you can do this by splattering paint with your paintbrush, or you can also use a white gel pen to draw in some stars or meteors. Meteors. And there you have it, the very first night sky with brush pens. As you can see, there were a lot of like water spots happening in the first piece, or blooming as they call it, because of the water from the water brush. So in the second video, which I'm going to be showing after this, instead of using just pure water, I actually used water mixed with the ink from the brush pen to do the blending instead. So did it work? Did it blend more nicely? You need to keep watching to find out. So for this piece, I used all the colors, well almost all the colors, from the primary set of Tombow Dual Brush Pens, because I saw this reference photo that I'm like, wow, maybe I can try to recreate it inside of a silhouette of a coffee grinder. So first things first, I lay all the colors down, and then I used a bigger paintbrush because this was a bigger piece, and I picked up the color mixed with water to blend each color together. So when I did this, what I realized is that I don't lose the vibrancy of the color. Instead, I actually make it more vibrant. Even though there are still some blooms here and there, I find it easier to blend the colors to each other using this method. Next, I just traced the outline of the coffee grinder handle, which I drew in pencil earlier, and filled that in with black. So I wanted this piece to look like a rainbow night sky, so after the first layer is dry, I used the black paint from the black brush pen to darken the piece and created some dark clouds as well. So don't worry if it looks a bit splotchy or if the blend isn't smooth. I think it does create a sort of like a nebula galaxy effect. And once the piece is dry, I draw some forest trees pointing towards the middle of the piece, so it looks like you are standing in the middle of the forest looking up into this galaxy sky. And once again, the tape is there to make sure that I don't accidentally color outside of the lines. And to very quickly finish up this piece, you do just letter on the quote using the same bleed-proof white paint from earlier, as well as splatter some stars. And there you have it. This is the finished piece of the rainbow night sky. So here they are! These are the two pieces that I make. I'm very happy with how they turned out, even after struggling with it quite a bit. It's all part of the learning process, so if you're not happy with how yours turned out, of course you can always practice and try again. If you want to watch the videos on their own, you can actually watch them on the JUMPROPE app, and you can see what it looks like over here. You can actually watch it like a Insta story, and I'll leave the links to them on the description down below. If you tried this tutorial after watching this video, do tag me on Instagram, because I want to see maybe you can do a better blending job than me, because other than me wanting to teach you something, I do think there's always something that I can learn from you as well. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you press the like button and also press the subscribe button down below, notification bell, so that you know when I upload the next video. And I just want to say thank you, because I got $300, sorry. I mean, I had 300 subscribers and I am so happy. So thank you very much everyone for watching and supporting me on my channel. Go ahead and watch some of the other videos that I've uploaded, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!